statements. We'll now move on to the office of sheriff. I'm going to let Matt Smoak, you get to go first.
Hello, everybody. I want to thank everybody at Exchange Club for inviting me out here. Appreciate all you for showing up and taking an interest in the issues we have in Berkeley County. I'm Matt Smoak. I'm running for Berkeley County Sheriff. I have 17 years in public safety, ranging from fire, police, and even paramedic. What I plan to do in the next 4 years, if I'm elected, is to bring back accountability to the sheriff's office, bring fiscal responsibility back, and bring the trust back to the community. What I mean by that is I'm going to provide the community in every area of Berkeley County with deputies that don't have deputies there now. Daniel Island, Cross, Bono Beach, all these areas that are suffering to have services that they're not being provided to. I'm going to do that by increasing the manpower, reallocating the manpower, reallocating the zones that the deputies are assigned to right now. Those haven't been touched in many years. I believe the structural, manpower of the structure and the manpower for the department needs to be looked at. From the patrol guys all the way up to the command staff. I believe that the sheriff's office right now is way too top heavy, and that we could utilize more guys on the street, more supervisors being able to make the arrests they need to make to help out their squad. Most of my plans that I can involve will not increase the taxes. I could use the means of grants, federal grant money. And yes, that is a federal tax increase, if you will, but it's over a broader spectrum, so it's not going to affect people as much as a local tax increase would. My current department I'm at now, we've actually utilized grants through over the past 8 years, and we have increased our manpower from 300 officers almost to 500. Again, my name is Matt Smoak, and I'm running for Berkeley County Sheriff. Appreciate your vote June 10th.
You did that on purpose.
I did. It's got a little thing at the bottom that spins on you and throws you off. All right, I'm going to talk loud. We're going to introduce Brian Adams, the next candidate for sheriff. I'll figure this out while I can talk about it.
Not a problem. I want to thank everybody. It's a good evening this afternoon. I don't know about y'all, but I've been enjoying the summer. I cannot stand the winter. I am a very cold-blooded person. I do not like the winter. But I want to thank you very much. To tell you a little bit about myself, I have been in law enforcement going on 23 years. I have started my public safety career inside of fire departments. I volunteered at the fire department, worked my way into EMS. As soon as I hit 21, my drive was police and law enforcement. I jumped right into it. Started at Goose Creek. Stayed there for about 3.5 years. I went from there and I went to the city of North Charleston, where I remain to this day. I've worked my way up to a lieutenant position where I'm over the special sections unit, which includes the narcotics, the street crimes unit, as well as the fugitive task force. I've been through detectives, I've gone through there, and I've been through several trainings involving investigations, leadership classes, and today I'm a member, I sit on the board of Law Enforcement Coordinating Committee, which is out of Columbia. I am an instructor for the drug commanders as well in the state, so once a year I go to Columbia and we pull in drug commanders from around the state. The department actually has to do a resume for these officers, and we sit down and look at them and we select them and bring them in. And I'm an instructor for that. That's a little bit about my career. I've also, my wife and I, we grew up in the area. We went to Stratford High School. We graduated from there, and we have 4 children today. We actually have 17-year-olds, 16-year-olds, 2 14-year-olds who just had their birthdays, so we're excited about that. So, but I appreciate this opportunity to come here and talk to y'all, and I'm looking forward to serving everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Leah. Let's go to our sheriff candidates. Brian Adams is up first.
Thank you. What I want to address is the community. That's one of the main things we want to get back to. One of my beliefs is we need to get more deputies on the road. We need to provide a service for the community. That's our first line of defense against reducing crime, and to be there for who lives in the county. Who lives in our communities? Our community is the biggest part of our county. The best way of doing that is Let's get some of the top-heavy positions, redundant positions, positions where lieutenants are sitting, where civilians could be sitting, and let's move those sworn law enforcement positions back to the road. There's nothing wrong with that. Let's get them out there for y'all, for me, for the kids that are walking in the roads and playing in the roads to drive the car slower. Let's get out there for them. Let's make sure we build a communication between the sheriff's office and the community liaison. Let's get an officer in those communities. We have big communities out there between Canebay, Crowfield, Sangaree, all these different huge communities. Let's build a liaison between the sheriff's office and them. Let's get somebody in place, not just for them, but let's make that the sheriff officer deputy a connection to the council member that's in that district as well. This is something that we worked in North Charleston, has worked great. This is something that's been done in Columbia and other agencies we've gone to. We need to take some of these ideas from other areas and bring them to us. There's nothing wrong with borrowing ideas, making it fit to the county, and provide a better service for all of us. What that officer and deputy can do then at that point in time, you're going in the neighborhood, you see this deputy, you wave at him, he waves at you, and you flag him down, you say, hey, down the street, little Joe, he's always out on the road. Now let me make sure you understand. Police officers and deputies are not always for enforcement. It's not about that all the time. It's about when your car's broken down. Little Johnny's playing in the road. Let's put the deputies in there to help out with these things. Somebody complaining about, you know, he's depressed, she's depressed, she needs somebody to talk to. So an officer she flags down. Let's make sure they're there. That deputy then can call the victim advocate, a counselor, somebody to help out. Then let's say little Johnny's in the road and they don't see a deputy. They call their council member. The council member now has a direct link to the sheriff's office without calling 911, without going to a lieutenant or a captain or something. He's got a direct link. Say, hey, Deputy Joe, can you do me a favor? They're complaining about some speeders down here, and you got little Johnny who constantly playing in the road. Can you do something? I sure can. I go there. The deputy knocks on the door. Hey, your son is always in the road. We need to make sure. That is a direct connection. It's a direct link with the community. It's not a phone call. It's not a recording. It's not somebody sitting behind the desk saying, I'll do a report over the phone. That's not going to do nothing for us. Let's get back into the communities and work with them. Another thing I want to do, once we get that relationship built, we start looking at different areas. Use crime analysis. Let's make sure we redraw the zones. The zones have not been drawn for over 30 years. Let's get back in there. Let's redistribute the deputies where they are needed. The growth has changed in Berkeley County. Why have the zones not changed? Let's change it. Let's put more deputies where they belong. It's important we get the deputies where they need to be. Once they get in there, let's build a neighborhood resource program. Continue that relationship. Don't continue it and move on somewhere else. We want to keep building on that relationship, keep growing it. Not only do we do that, let me tell you something else we do. Ooh, that was quick. We can get in there and we can work on building a elderly list. So if the ice storm comes, a hurricane comes, something like that, we can get them and we can go check on them at certain times. Okay? I appreciate your time and effort, and I look for your support coming June 10th. Thank you very much.
Very good. Our second candidate for sheriff is Smoak.
I got mixed up with our 2 minutes and 4 minutes thing, so I am married to my wife. I've been married, coming this June 9th will be 13 years right before the primary, so that's good news before the primary as well. I also have 3 beautiful little girls. I can be biased about that. I'm allowed to. Add on to what Brian has said, we're both real big about getting deputies more involved with the community. As he says, he's worked North Charleston, I work City of Charleston. Our department has done that as well, and it has worked wonders. We've gotten such a great turnabout with the community and involvement with us, and they can flag us over. And like he said, hey, we've got a problem in this area. Now we've got an exact representation from that department to start getting those changes made and allocated. Another thing that I want to start focusing on is safety. When I look at my kids playing in the yard, I'll shoot basketball for my oldest daughter today. I want her to grow up in the safest county possible, and I'm pretty certain everybody else out here wants that for their kids and their family as well. In order to do that, we've got to get those deputies on the road. We've got to get the jail open. We've got to get the zones rescheduled. Also, I'm going to work on decreasing our fatality statistics in Berkeley County. The fatality rates are gradually going up, and the collisions are going up, and that leads to me that the enforcement is not there. We need to actually be doing more proactive enforcement for traffic control. I want to say 2013, Charleston, Berkeley County made 94, 95 DUI arrests. Charleston County had 298, and that blew my mind away. I believe the deputies should start working collisions within Berkeley County. Don't always rely on highway patrol to do that. Every officer that comes graduate from the South Carolina Criminal Justice Academy is certified to work a collision. Maybe not up to the fatality collisions, but we can actually provide those trainings. I don't really understand why we have to pawn off issues in Berkeley County to another agency. I've actually pulled up on a wreck with a Berkeley County deputy shortly behind me, and he asked if I was going to work the wreck. I said, no, this is not my jurisdiction. I sat there and talked with him for a little while. He didn't know who I was, didn't know what I was doing. We waited on scene for 45 minutes for the highway patrol to get there to work that accident. That's uncalled for. In that 45 minutes, we could have already had that accident worked. We had the accident out the roadway, luckily, but he could have already had that accident worked and those people put back on the road. I really believe that the enforcement levels need to increase within Berkeley County to reduce the violent crime. You can look at the statistics. Wherever the crime rates are up and the collisions are up, you send your officers and deputies to those areas to start combating those issues. The more enforcement you do, the more likelihood that your violent crime and your other collisions and stuff like that is going to decrease. Also, like I said, mentioned earlier about bringing back accountability. The sheriff's office needs to have more accountability on them. It seems a lot of I've asked for this and I've asked for that, and I'm not getting this money, I'm not getting these deputies, and there's always a finger pointing. There has to be some kind of personal accountability for that. What are we doing to get those deputies out there? I'm losing my train of thought, I apologize. These lights are blinding me. I appreciate your vote June 10th. Thank you. My name is Smoak.
All right, leading the pre. And Matt, you go first. Probably feel like you just sat down, but you get to go first.
We get 2 minutes or a minute for this? 2 minutes, okay. Like I said, there's a lot of changes that need to be made within Berkeley County with the community involvement, with the community involvement with the Sheriff's Department, with the community. I believe that all of us working together, we can actually make the goals that need to happen faster and happen safely. The last thing I want to do is have one of the deputies that work for me get injured, get shot or killed, or injured on the job. No supervisor wants that for any of their employees. We need to help get their equipment better on the streets, better cars, the vest that needs to be looked at, and like I said, the reallocation of manpower so we can actually devote the deputies to where they need to get to faster, so their response times are quicker, so they're responding to you guys when you guys are having your emergency faster and safely. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be done within the next 4 years, and it can't be done by one individual person. It has to be done by the entire county, and we have to have the county support as well as the Sheriff's Department supporting the county. So I appreciate everybody's vote for June 10th for Matt Smoak. I'm Matt Smoak, running for Berkeley Sheriff, and I thank you.
Brian Adams is our second candidate for sheriff.
Thank you. A lot of people have been asking me, how do you plan on paying for some of these things you bring up, like more deputies on the road? The deputies are there. We just have to reallocate them. Let's move them. How about the cars? They have cars. Matter of fact, they have cars that are assigned to LE3s who do not meet the state qualifications to be driving a cruiser with lights and radios in it. They drive them. Not only do they drive them home and to work, they drive them as their personal cars. They drive them around. They just spend $18,000 in our fuel. We pay for that, for them to drive around for just 12 LE3s. Now there's a secretary that drives a vehicle, personal use. This is waste. wasted money for positions that should not be driving cars. Let's take that money and let's start saving it. Let's start applying it to where it needs to be applied. Overtime has gone up tremendously over the last 10 years for mandatory overtime at the detention center. Okay? We have to figure out ways to keep people in there, change the morale, change the atmosphere, keep the employees and detention officers in there so there is no more mandatory overtime. Not only is mandatory overtime that's gone up to $1.2 million, but it's under a Chinese overtime pay or flex pay. We need to change that to time and a half. It's fair. It's got to be fair to them. You don't want these people to quit and leave when you just got done training them. They had 6 leave just last week. We're constant. It's a constant rotation. That costs money. We need to get back to saving some money and moving it back. We got cell phones almost issued to almost a lot of employees. Cost us $131,000 a year. That's the quickest 2 minutes. I wrestle. I never remember 2 minutes taking that long. That fast. But I do appreciate it, and I appreciate your support. June 10th, Brian Adams from Berkeley County Sheriff. Thank you.